As you have correctly mentioned, I'm Amir. I'm the CEO of SIPCO Innovations. We are a manufacturer of different inputs for agriculture, including biopesticides, nutrients, plant growth enhancers, and the company has been around for quite some time, since 1974. So one of the main issues that we were having before implementing BatchMaster was production planning, as well as raw materials planning. Pretty much were all done in a manual way, I would say in Excel. Sure, there were some really good formulas implemented in Excel that could really help us, but at the end of the day, small error in writing the formula, or let's say like a manual entry error from an operator, could essentially give us wrong information. And at the same time, back in the day, we had I would say a platform for manufacturing and a different platform for accounting. They were somehow connected with an adapter system, but they were really not talking to each other. So it was like both sides of the organization, let's say the sales side and the manufacturing side, and followed by that, the supply chain and purchasing, were kind of isolated. So it was not easy to navigate those. It was hard to do planning, and planning was a cumbersome process because you didn't have live data. You had to kind of pull from this system and the other system, then combine them into an Excel sheet at best and kind of run it. So yeah, like implementing BatchMaster was really helpful for us to actually navigate that. So when we were going through a basically selection process, majority of the ERP systems, especially the manufacturing segments of it, were mainly designed for discrete manufacturing and not batch processing. That was one of the most important criteria for us to be able to select BatchMaster. There were not that many options, at least back in the day. Combined with that, the lot traceability for us was really important, because we're in a regulated industry where we actually have to lot track each and every bottle that we sell in case of a recall, or in case of any potential issues. These two were super important for us. Obviously there are other matters that are important, but these two were like really the basics for us. So any vendor, any supplier who were not able to meet these two, obviously we couldn't continue the conversation with them. Yeah, for sure. I mean, before essentially having an ERP system, we had two different modules per se. One was for accounting and one was for manufacturing. So on the manufacturing side, we were able to put some order point for each raw material item. But the way that it was working was essentially, it was based on the historical data. Yes, we could implement some of the forecast from the sales as well and kind of set that order point, but it was very static. It was not dynamic. So I guess shifting from that mentality to more of MRP, I would say MPS and including MRP, was really helping us to be a little bit more forward looking versus only looking at the historical data. That was important for us. Just imagine you're a purchasing manager, you sit in your office, a vendor calls you and says, hey, when are you going to pay us? The easiest way for you is to just open the purchase order and then right click on it and look at the relationship map, and then you can see the entire journey of that purchase order all the way. And not only you can see it, but also you can open each and every document. You can go all the way to the payment and open that document and say, well, this actually was paid on this or that date. So I think from the actual user perspective, some of these things might look really minor, but a lot of times are actually really, really important to save time. And one other thing that I would say that it's a little bit, maybe a little bit too detailed from a user perspective, is the fact that you're actually able to assign a single MRP item to multiple qualified vendors while maintaining supplier specific item codes within the system. That is huge. That functionality really helped us avoid creating unnecessary duplicate items, which not only simplify purchasing and improve record management, but also eliminated the need to constantly revise formulas or bill of lading whenever we change suppliers for the same raw material item. So at the end of the day, when you do your month-end process, really once that's completed, for me as, let's say, as CEO, I can actually run a profit and loss analysis and really take a look at it and see how we have done in that month. And really, it's really online, and you could do it in a present time. And I would say that that's really huge for managers to be able to run their businesses. Yeah, I would say that there are many visibilities into the system. Obviously, I'll go back and say that we're in a regulated environment, and having that traceability dashboard and the ability to trace each and every order that ships from our factory all the way from the finished good to each and every bottle and cap and raw material item is very, very important for us. And we're actually using it quite often, So the other factor for me, like the whole purchasing process, all the way from entering the demand to running your MRP, and be able to have a dashboard that includes everything in one spot, is huge. Again, not only it adds visibility, but also it's very user friendly. It's easy to use. You can just right click on it or click on it and then just issue a purchase order right there.